All right, welcome into hour two. Let's just take a quick recap, an overview here of what happened today across the league in terms of free agents who have signed. This may not be completely up to date, but according to Spotrac, here is what we've got. And what I did was I'm going to sort it by average annual value. So I feel like that's the number that I don't want to say it matters, but that kind of gives you the overall dynamic of the contract, if you will. So can you guys read that okay? Is that zoomed in? Is that all right right there?
That's
We
good
good?
right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So leading the way today was Sam Darnold, who went from Minnesota to the Seattle Seahawks. His average annual value is $33.5 million. Okay. He got a 3-year deal worth $100.5 million. So Sam Darnold's going to continue his journey out in Seattle. How do we feel about that, fellas? I'm kind of excited that he's not in Minnesota anymore because he played damn good football last year. He really did. I like our chances against J.J. McCarthy better than Sam Darnold. Now, I understand there's a few whispers out there that Aaron may end up in Minnesota. Obviously, if Aaron ends up in Minnesota, I like Minnesota's chances with Aaron better than I did Sam Darnold. That's just me personally. So it's going to get interesting to see. That's why I want Aaron to sign in Pittsburgh as quick as possible. You know what I mean? Just go ahead and get that out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
But what do y'all think about Sam Darnold here? Money well spent, overpay? What do you think?
If I'm Darnold, I'm kind of scratching my head being like, well, who am I going to throw it to, though? I mean, they got JSN, obviously, but they let Lockett go. They let DK go. They let a few other players go. I would just try to – I mean, the money's money. So if you're worried about that aspect, then I'd be happy as a clam. But if you're worried about, like, is my career going to go beyond a 2-year stint here with this team, or are they going to basically use me and abuse me and then chuck me to the side of the road? So he benefited greatly from a team that was – very well rounded, that was missing obviously a quarterback. He was able to plug and play. I think you'd probably worry if you're a Seattle fan about, was that the real Darnold? Just that stint of like 14 games, and then we watched him fall absolutely apart. Add that into the absolute train wreck that was his career up until that point. So if I'm a Seattle fan, I'm looking at that saying, "Good, we paid a lot of money." As a Minnesota fan, I'd say, good, we may have just given away the best quarterback in our group. If you're a Packer fan, I'm like, I don't care either way. Good.
Right. I know Jake Shavink here in the chat, Tim. He says JSN and T-Mac season in Seattle. That was one of those teams as we were doing that mock trying to see how far Ted McMillan would fall. Is it McMillan? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Right? Ted McMillan. How far he would fall. Seattle was definitely one of those teams that would be, in the sweepstakes there. I think that makes all the sense in the world.
I do too. Them being aggressive in the receiver market and the draft for sure. If it is McMillan, yeah, there's two guys right there, right?
I think he last, what are they, 18th though, I believe?
Yeah, but like Jake says, they got some capital to move up.
Right.
Could be one of those situations for sure.
As far as Darnold going to Seattle, I think that's going to fit perfect. I think it just seems like that's going to be a good match for them over there. And to Jacob's point too, I could see being a little nervous if I'm a Seahawks fan. Are you going to get consistency? Are you going to get that same level of play? And the other question is that Seattle O-line like the Minnesota O-line was last year and allowing Darnold the time that he had to do what he did last season. So there's a lot of different factors that go into play, but I think it's going to be a good fit. Just like, when they made the move to trade Geno to Vegas, I thought that's going to be a good fit too for him. This just seems to make sense to me.
Got it. All right. Drew D with the super chat. Thank you, Drew. Appreciate you, buddy. Says, I feel like we got 2 starters in free agency. We could still use a guy at those positions, but don't need a guy there. Feels like D tackle in the first, then it's open. Yeah, then you just go best player available. I agree, Drew. That's kind of what it feels like here, man. And again, I don't know enough about the 2 players to go slam dunk. Yeah, they're great starting football players. But based off of the people I respect and what they're saying around the old Twitter world, it seems like many people believe that. So that's good news for us Packer fans for sure. Appreciate the super chat there, bud. Next, you got Milton Williams, defensive tackle out of Philadelphia. He signs with New England, 4 years, $104 million. That's $26 million per year. That may seem like a lot of money, but like when you look at Kenny Clark's cap number last year, it was $27 million last year. This year it drops to 20. Next year it goes up to over 30. So you put them in the same ballpark, and Kenny signed his deal a few years ago. So to put that into perspective, Kenny Clark's type of deal, this guy is hovering, Milton Williams is hovering right around that contract value that Kenny signed 3 years ago. Shows you that I don't think they overpaid for Milton. I'm just not as big on Milton as most people are. And it's obvious that I was in a minority with that because Mike Vrabel wants to start his new reign there in New England and build this thing out right and build this defense up. They have plenty of money to spend, and, boy, they dropped a good little piece of coin on Milton Williams. Davante Adams, the one that broke our heart. It's now, from what I understand, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, it's been reported that the Packers never made an offer. They were never interested in Davante Adams.
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
Is that what you guys heard too? Is that right?
Yep.
I heard that they didn't pick up the phone either about DK or Godwin.
Right.
Yep.
So Davante Adams, you guys know, I remember saying 14 to 15 million would be my number. Anything more than that, it's going to get, a little too expensive. He ended up getting 2 years, 44 million, so 22 million per. I like that we passed on that. Not as if Goody seen that number and said, nope, can't do it. It sounded like he wasn't even interested. Drew D said, I wouldn't have wanted to come close to what Adams got. Completely agree, Drew. Completely agree.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Tay there? And Milton Williams too here, these top three?
Milton Williams, I think that's a massive overpay for good. The guy has had spurts, and he's pretty much a pass rusher. I mean, I know that he was one of the most productive guys last year, but I don't know, man, $104 million over 4 years. I don't know, again, how much of that's guaranteed, but that's too rich for my blood. I'm happy for Davante. I think that that's probably the best fit and end of his career. Be out west, be with McVay, have Stafford there. Look at that tandem of Puka and him.
Oh,
that's probably, maybe not, because he did have some great players in New York as well. But that's a tough 1-2 punch, man. That's a tough one there for sure.
I think you're spot on too. Tay's going to go there and fit right into that McVay offense, like perfectly. So that's good for him. I see Chris the Casual in here says that's criminal. Clayton 2 for 46 for a wide receiver 1 should have been a done deal. Brought him home. I respectfully disagree. As much as I love Tay, I love our guys that we have now, and maybe I'm just a little more patient than the average fan, but 1 or 2 seasons is not going to make me want to run you out of town like some of these guys are being talked about right now. So I'm looking forward to seeing the core that we have, plus whoever we add to the mix in the draft, Jaden Higgins, and we'll go from there. What are your thoughts, though? Really, would you have been willing to come even close?
No, you got to have a walking away point. And there's no one that was more excited than me about the thought of Davante Adams returning to Green Bay and helping these young receivers. I think that's a thing. And I know many people disagree with that's not a real thing, having a veteran and icon in a position room to help the younger players. I go based off of what former players said. I don't go based off of what fellow fans say in that regard. And that's something that's talked about a lot. Like you hear Pat McAfee talk about that a lot, like the people that were in the building. He's saying that's the problem with the Colts right now is they don't have those guys in the building to show these young guys how to be pros, right? So I think that's a real thing. But, you got to have a walking away point. And like Chris N said, saying that, it's criminal, you should have brought him in for $22 million. I can understand that. I can understand where you're coming from. I just disagree. I think that my number was, like I said, 14, 15 million. That's where I set it at too. As soon as I seen the Spot Track projected market value of 14.5 million, whatever it was, I was like, it just confirmed what I was saying about 15 million. It just felt that's the number. So, okay, if you're willing to go 15, then you're willing to go 18. If you're willing to go 18, you're willing to go 20. If you're willing to go 22, you're willing to go 25. When does it end? It's just, I want that player and I'm going to overpay. I can't subscribe to that. I just can't. And here's the other thing too. I'm not wishing this on Tay, but Tay is 32 years old. Is that right? Yeah, 32. What if he goes out there to LA in week 2 or 3, he, has a major injury and age catches up with him, right? Are the people that were saying, hey, we should have signed him for 22 or 25 million, are they going to come back and go, boy, that was the right move. I was wrong there. Probably never going to talk about it again. That's not a shot at Chris N. I'm saying that's 90% of the fan base that's losing their mind right now. 90% of the portion of the fan base. 90% of the fan base is not losing their mind right now. It's just the loud minority out there that's throwing a fit over the
What do you think about this tweet? And I think I don't necessarily know what the point he's trying to make, but I just think it's great to take a minute and take a step back. A guy named Steve Saban, but it's spelled with a CZ. Says the Packers lost by 2 to Minnesota twice, once to the Lions by 3, and the eventual Super Bowl champs by 5. What does all this tell you? The team is right there, and some of you guys can't even see it. And if that's, again, if it's an argument for him saying that we should have signed more people, I think it's more of an argument that we don't need to be careless and reckless with just throwing money around, trying to plug gaps and try to make. I don't, the headlines. Does it suck to watch a lot of the free agents that we loved and we've talked about fly off the board one after another? A lot of them going to the Vikes, to the Bears, and to the Lions, of course. But that being said, we really have to take a step back, and so we basically lost by 11 points to the 4 or 5 best teams in the league. One of them ended up being the Super Bowl champion. We're doing something right. It was small pieces, and Clayton, we've talked about it so many times. We lost that game in the trenches. Mm-hmm. What are we doing right now? We're trying to find a way to solidify the offensive line. We lost Slayton today, so I think that, like we just talked about, it's going to point a big, blaring red arrow at that first-round pick, and I just think that it just screams D-line 3-tech.
Yeah. To your point, Jacob, look at these, just at this list right here, right? Seattle, New England, the Rams, Tennessee, Indy, the Jets, Arizona, the Giants, Carolina, Chicago. You guys see some massively talented teams there that are throwing money around in the, you know what I mean? Point. So if you're throwing big money around in free agency, chances are you're already at a point where you're scrambling, trying to get talent to come play in your organization and be competitive. I mean, out of those teams, other than, maybe the Rams and
the Lions,
and Detroit made a move. Chicago, great example. We talked about what the Bears did, right? Bears made a lot of moves. They had to. They absolutely had to. So I'm not upset at all with how day one went today, honestly. And we got a long way to go too. A lot of off season left here before we get into the nitty gritty, right?
Yeah, let's go to the chat here. Josh Martin says Minnesota got Ryan Kelly at center today. That sucks. I wasn't as big on Ryan Kelly as most. Now, Ryan Kelly was listed as the top center free agent. It's amazing when I say he's listed as that. Someone said that on the NFL Network. They get the top center prospect. I'm going, that's the first time I've heard that this offseason. All of a sudden, now he's the top center. You know what I mean? To me, when you take everything into consideration, I didn't think Ryan Kelly. I want to say Ryan Kelly was 32 years old as well. Matter of fact, he should be on this list, I would imagine.
He is at least 31. I looked up. He graded out very well most of his career, but the last 2 years completely. I shouldn't say completely, but definitely did fall off. It is kind of a, it's a little tough to see that the 2 centers that I did want. I looked up Kelly later when, and then obviously Dahlman went to the Bears. So that's the only point of, kind of making my feathers ruffle a little bit. But again, we don't know. You can't compare our missing center that we don't really know who it's going to be with 2 guys that haven't played for that team before. And what if we do kick Elton inside? I mean, he could be the best center in the whole freaking NFC North by far. So,
right. 2-0 for this is Dontarion Wicks learning what Tay did to fix the drop issue would be crucial. I agree. That would have helped. Professor Cakes, can we just refer to Dontavion as Dontarion from here on out? It's too funny. I agree, man. We should do that. I don't think he'll like that, but we should do that. And Mama Wicks wouldn't like that either. And I have met her face to face. And anytime I meet someone face to face, I do not want to upset them, especially mamas. Mama bears don't play. I'll
tell you what, Dontavion is not going to be playing much either this year, unless it's serious reps. And I think this is the year he's going to step up. Everyone's going to call him by the right name after the 2025 season. I'm calling it.
We need to tweet at him that tweet where that guy called him Dontarion. Just a little reminder here, bub. They don't even know your name. I don't even know your name. I think he's going to be fine, man. That's me. Let's see here. In terms of other free agents, Dan Moore, tackle from Pittsburgh, goes to Tennessee. He got the bag, boys. 4 years, $82 million, $20.5 million per. Carlton Davis, cornerback, leaves Detroit, goes to New England, 3 years, $60 million. That's $20 million per. Charvarius Ward's one we talked about, right? I would have been okay with signing him for the right price. He ends up going from San Francisco to the Indianapolis Colts, 3 years, $60 million, $20 million per, obviously. Justin Fields is the new quarterback with the New York Jets as he leaves Pittsburgh and goes to the Meadowlands out there. 2 years, $40 million, $20 million per. I'm rooting for Justin Fields. I don't know about you guys, but I just love to see him turn out to be a stud and Caleb Williams be a flop, just so the Bears would have to live in that for a while. That would be awesome. Josh Sweat was one that was mentioned a lot this offseason with the Packers. Edge defender, going to be 28 years old here soon. Leaves Philly, goes to Arizona, 4 years, $76.1 million. That's $19 million per. No thank you for Josh Sweat for me. Not for $19 million. Paulson Adebo, I was really surprised how many people mentioned his name. I think it had a lot to do with his age too, seeing that he was only 25 years old. He leaves the Saints, goes to the Giants, 3 years, $54 million, so he's getting $18 million per. Trevin Mohrig.
Yeah.
Hey, look at there. Safety from the Las Vegas Raiders, 25 years old, goes to the Carolina Panthers, 3 years, $51 million for $17 million per. Dayo Odeyingbo, right? Yeah.
Pretty good.
Defensive end, 25 years old, leaves Indy, goes to Chicago, 3 years, $48 million. Do we know much about him at all, fellas? Was he a pretty solid pass rusher?
Pass rusher that was their best in Indy for the last 3-4 years. Didn't have crazy numbers, but good enough.
Got it. DJ Reed, cornerback, one of them we mentioned several times. He was one of 3 corners I really liked this year. Undersized though, 5'9". Isn't it funny? We ended up going with the corner that's 6'1" as opposed to the 5'9" one. Right? No surprise there. 28 years old, leaves the Jets, goes to the Lions, 3 years, $48 million, $16 million per. Cameron Bonham.
We went with the younger corner too.
Yeah, right. Cameron Bonham, free safety. He leaves Minnesota, goes to Indianapolis. Talano Hufanga, safety, and Oos there, I believe, if I remember correctly. Leaves San Francisco, goes to Denver. Pretty solid player there. Javen Kinlaw, defensive tackle, leaves the Jets, goes to Washington. Tershawn Wharton, defensive end / edge, leaves Kansas City, goes to Carolina. Jalen Moore, left tackle, leaves San Francisco, goes to KC. Is it just me or does San Francisco get picked apart on that offensive line, boys?
Yep. They lost 7 starters today.
Jeez, oh, Pete, that's a rebuild. Yep. That's a rebuild. Put it on the ticker. Put it on the ticker. Harold Landry, we talked about him. I think it was last night maybe. Edge defender out of Tennessee. He rejoins Mike Vrabel up there in New England, 3 years, $43.5 million. Here's one that we talked about. This was, I don't want to speak for everyone, this was definitely my favorite center in this free agency. He was the dude that I was like, hey, if his market value is correct, that they were showing like 6.5 or 6.9 million, sign me up. He ends up going to the Chicago Bears for 3 years, $42 million. So he ended up getting $14 million per.
Yeah.
So for the comment earlier about, Elton Jenkins making $17 million playing center, Drew Dalman's going to be playing center for the Bears at $14 million per average annual value. My question is, which would you rather have? You have to choose between the two. Which would you rather have play center, Elton Jenkins or Drew Dalman? If I had to choose between the two, I would pick Elton Jenkins. But if Elton Jenkins, if I can have them both, I would have really liked to have them both. That makes sense. Have your cake and eat it too. So what did Jake say there? Dalman would have limited Green Bay's run scheme, in my opinion. There you go. And a lot of that does come into play. It does. I know Jake was not high on Dalman when we were. He talked about that many times this offseason. So how do we feel about Dalman going to Chicago, boys? Do y'all think they overpaid? Do you think that's a good signing? I think it's a good signing, and they've got plenty of cap space, so it's not like they're going to miss that extra cap, in my opinion.
I think they did what they had to do. That was the worst offensive line for especially a young quarterback, especially a quarterback like a Caleb Williams who thinks that he can just run away from every defender and extend a play. They traded quite a bit of draft capital and some decent money to solidify that guard position. Then they go ahead and sign the center position. just because they drafted these guys and they're plugging them in doesn't mean that offensive line is going to change. Now, did they, again, looking back at what these guys have done in their careers, on paper, it looks like a good signing. But, I mean, they got to come out and they got to play. And as we've all learned our whole lifetimes, the Chicago Bears will find a way to poop in the bed and turn around and spin in it. So I'm not worried yet. Give me until like halfway through the season next year, and we'll see how many times Caleb's gotten hit. We'll see.
Yeah.
As Jacob said, poop in the hand. I immediately thought of the Facebook video that Emilio sent us the other day, where it said doctor or engineer, and it showed that guy in the middle of the street. So it's like, this is so random.
I don't want to pat you on the butt and you poop in my hand. So
exactly right, Coach. Exactly. So let's move along to where our signings landed here.
Too old for this.
Here in Johnny Depp described Amber Heard pooping on the pillow. It was just wild courtroom content.
Plus, they were like, Johnny, you were drunk, and he's like, well, yeah, my girlfriend poops in the bed. Did you have a few drinks?
Still crapped on the pillow, whether I was drunk or not. What is that going to do with it? Oh, unbelievable. All right, so Nate Hobbs, right? Our signing here. Did we already pass up on our other boy? We did. Or we haven't yet, right? Or he may not be on the list yet. As well. What's going on? Aaron, right? Aaron Banks.
Aaron Banks.
Yeah, we haven't seen him yet. So maybe they haven't updated the list completely. But Nate Hobbs is on the list here. He's tied for the 22nd most free agent that signed today in average annual value. So for the people that say, holy overpay, it's like you're making it sound like he was one of the top 5 highest paid free agents, right? 25 years old, leaves Vegas, goes to Green Bay, 4 years, $48 million, $12 million average annual. You won't be able to see this for a second. I'm just seeing if they got any other details here. Total guarantee. There's a total guarantee is listed at 16 million total guarantee is what it looks like. So yeah, I think that was mentioned earlier here in the show as well. So there's a first, and our other boy is not on this list, is he? Because he would have been much higher than that.
So, yeah, he should have been higher.
Yeah, so we'll get that information to you guys and gals at a later date. Is it cool if we move on to the Patreon group real quick, guys?
Yeah, if you want to do that. I was going to go over the list of free agents that are currently available.
Ooh, let's hear it, Tim.
I'd like that.
Want to read over a list of 200-year-old football players or anything, but shockingly enough, Stephon Diggs was not picked up.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Go get him. $35 million per, Tim. Sign him.
I'll pass. Hard pass. Joey Bosa still on the market, though I hear whisperings about possibly San Francisco for him. I don't know if you guys have heard that.
Secrets.
Yeah. Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Von Miller, Brandon Cooks, Deontay Johnson out of Baltimore.
Here's the guy.
28 years old. He looks like a young kid with the rest of these guys.
What about Von Miller, guys? Are we willing?
Oh, no.
Hey, I'll tell you, he's he seems to be aging like a fine wine. That dude has played pretty damn good football while he was in Buffalo.
Tim says
A lot of money for a 1-year rental.
We were going to do it for Khalil, though, right?
Yeah, but that's K-Mac. K-Mac's not 35 and a half, is he? How old is Khalil Mack? Khalil Mack's like 29, 30 or something like that.
No, I thought he was going to be 33 this year. I could be wrong.
Really?
Tim, look at him. Von Miller's grades are just unreal, dude.
Oh, 90, right?
93, 91, 90, 91, 90, 95, 90, 79, 91, 85, 53. Last year, 85.5. Bring that guy in here.
Khalil Mack got, what did Khalil Mack get? 18 million?
18 million. Yeah.
Von Miller ain't taking no $18 million.
Khalil Mack's 34 years old, Tim.
Wow. Okay, so just a year younger. All right.
Right in the same ballpark. They're both kind of that same type of player. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know how they keep doing it, boys. I turned 34. I can barely get out of bed. These guys are still out there doing the thing.
Yeah, Toll for this says, I hope Diggs goes to Pittsburgh. Can you imagine if Rodgers goes to Pittsburgh and Diggs goes and their 3 receivers are Diggs, DK, and Pickens?
And then
Rodgers is going to have to be.
And then Mike Tomlin just up and retires.
Handle this. You kidding me? I'm out of here.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
They're like, Mike, you're the one who can discipline these guys.
Put that name in my mouth right there.
So, Anybody else, Tim? That's an interesting list, man.
I like that list, Tim.
Cam Robinson, Draymond Jones.
Got to put
Tyler
Cooper Cup on
Lockett.
that list, probably.
What's that?
Said you probably got to put Cooper Cup on that list, it sounds like. If he doesn't get signed or traded by Wednesday, they're going to release him.
Yeah, he's going to – that's what I heard. He's not on the free agent list. Preston Smith. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. DeMarcus Lawrence still available. Matthew Judon, Evan Ingram. That's what I've got. So
Judon.
Yep.
Ron Samble says the Green Bay Packers reportedly will sign former San Francisco 49ers guard Aaron Banks to a 4-year, $77 million contract with $63 million guaranteed in the first 3 years. So essentially it turns into, you're going to want to hold on to him that fourth to make it worth it. So that's kind of, I don't want to say the opposite, but a little bit different than the Hobbs signing. Goody thinks this dude is top tier. There's no doubt about that. Again, you can go off what people say. You gotta really pay attention to the checkbook, man.
Yeah,
man, that is true. $63 million guaranteed. Goody thinks this dude is Elton Jenkins' top offensive line. I get excited over that. Some people may think, "Oh God, that's overpaying." I get excited about that because Goody knows offensive line. My opinion, I could be wrong.
I don't know if that's
Harold says that's not right.
Yeah.
Bank $77 million. Ain't that what he just said though? Or is he saying, okay, bank $77 million is not right? Well, that changes.
Maybe the guaranteed part is not right.
Right. That's
yeah, somebody else is saying it's only the signing bonus was guaranteed. I hope it's not right. I'll be honest. I don't want us to give 63 guaranteed.
Let me see if I can find him real quick while we're sitting here. Y'all talk amongst yourself, gentlemen.
I mean, his name is Banks, right? I mean,
I was going to say, back up
going to the bank.
Valid point. The only thing, here we go. No. The only thing they have right now on Spot Track is Aaron Banks signed a 4-year, $77 million contract with the Green Bay Packers, including an average annual salary of $19.2 million in 2025. Banks will earn while carrying a cap hit of, and it's not finished yet. So it's just showing the average there, which is obviously just $77 million divided by 4. So we still don't know according to Spot Track. So Jake Shavink, it says $63 million in the first 3 years. I'm not seeing guaranteed. Got it. Vague details at the moment. There you go. So, worried me there. If it was $63 million fully guaranteed, it's like, oh boy, they think we just signed Armani Dawson. You know what I mean? That's Hall of Fame stuff there.
Ooh, the Saints are re-signing our potential pass rusher Chase Young. There you go.
Ooh, I got one right today, boys.
Love
that one. I had a feeling he was going to stay there.
Let's get to the Patreon group. I feel like we've neglected it the last few days. I got to get back to that.
Ooh.
What, Jacob?
Sorry. The 49ers are releasing 9-time Pro Bowl fullback Kyle Juszczyk.
Jacob, don't you start this.
Please find a way. Come on. I want Juszczyk.
You're being serious, Jared.
Put that name in my mouth right here. I want the fullback to make a resurgence, man.
I got you. All right, let's go to the Patreon group. You guys keep combing through the news there. If anything breaks, let us know. AZ Marky Mark said, "Hey Clayton, sorry, been a little MIA the past few, but I do listen to the pod and actually binge about 3 to 4 days in a row. Question: I keep hearing you talk about putting polls out on YouTube and X. How about creating them on this site? I would think you would get a more solid answer than all the drive-by yahoos that seen it on their feed but are not true Packer backers. Go back. I love it, AZ Marky Mark. I like that you're setting a little expectation here for the Patreon group. I appreciate it. So we did a poll question tonight on YouTube, on Twitter, and everything. We did it also on the Patreon group, so you guys make sure you get your vote in. Just posted it before the show, so people probably didn't even know about it. How would you grade the moves Goody made on day one of free agency? A, B, C, D, or F is what the options are on the Patreon group. But here in YouTube, we did the same poll question, and we only got 4 options, obviously. A, B, C, or D is what we went with. And it looks like 67% of the viewers tonight, with 132 votes, gave him a B. All right, so not bad, right? Not a bad grade. And then 17% gave him a C, 14% gave him an A, and only 2% gave him a D. So right now it looks like B is going to run away with it. So everybody seems pretty content. Didn't ace it, but pretty solid signings there from Google. So I like it. Next one here. Okay, so here's my latest favorite draft with no trades is here. So here we go. This is Todd Larson in the Patreon group. He said, number 23, cornerback Jahdae Barron. Number 54, defensive tackle TJ Sanders. I like it so far. Number 87, wide receiver Jack Besh. All right. Number 123, edge defender Davis Walker. Okay. 160, interior offensive lineman Jonah Monheim. Jacob, you like that one?
Here's the guy.
Right. Number 200, offensive tackle Jack Nelson. Number 239, wide receiver Elijah Badgers. And then number 251, linebacker Cody Simon. Doesn't look too bad there.
I actually really like that. Yeah.
I could see that happening too. That looks pretty sound, right? If you guys, where are we at now with Ja? Do you think Ja's coming back? Just real quick answer. I'm going to move on to the next question here, but I just need to know how do y'all feel about Ja now? Because listening to Wildy and Tausch today, Tausch was out. It's Brian Bulaga in there with Wildy, and it kind of feels like now Wildy stayed quiet on it, but it kind of feels like Bulaga's like, I don't know, man, what's going on? Hey, let me put it this way: if you're Jair, you wanted to hit the market before free agency, right? So why did he not? And why was his camp not pushing aggressively through the media? Hey, we're seeking a trade like Myles Garrett did or anything. You know what I'm saying? How do y'all feel about it?
Because we got a good GM, and he's got a handle on things, and maybe they work some things out. I mean, think about this. It benefits the Packers a lot if he plays next season because whatever you're going to get out of him is going to be him auditioning for, his next job probably. So he'll have all the motivation in the world to go out and ball out. It's just a matter of staying healthy. So I think really it feels like Packers have the leverage here, honestly. We got breaking news here. AFAM stubbed his toe on the coffee table.
He stubbed his toe, and his fake mustache fell off in the process.
Here's the guy.
This may help, may make Tim happy here, but I will increase. I was up until probably 2 days ago, I was saying 40-60 that we keep him versus not keep him. I'm willing to switch now. I think it's 60-40 that we do keep him.
It's been a roller coaster, hasn't it?
Things could be a lot worse. I could be a Bears fan.
That's right, Josh. All right, so Josh Martin in the Patreon group. Legal tampering period starts tomorrow. Obviously, this was yesterday at noon. Who do y'all think will be our first free agent signing? Someone from another team, not our own free agent. I think it will be Aaron Banks. That's who I think it'll be. How that works there.
Nice.
So, sorry we got to it late there, Josh. I apologize. It's been a rough 3 days here at the Bailey house. So Moist Butter, love that name, right? That's Jacob Burner here. I'm kind of depressed we aren't going to have kicker talk anymore.
Well, we'll talk about how great McMoney is all day.
We'll be talking about those game winners next year. What we're going to be talking about, baby. Trevor Anderson says, I feel like someone like Von Miller could be a good pickup for us. I know he's older, but with our heavy rotation, he can stay fresh. We have seen older guys still perform. Bobby Wagner, thoughts, Clayton? I think we just kind of hit it, Trevor. That's funny, man. Great minds think alike. I would be totally on board with it for the right price. Don't go breaking the bank. If you can get him for what they got Khalil Mack at $18 million, I'd be all right with it. Because like you said, that heavy rotation, I didn't even think about that. That obviously it's going to keep him a little healthier, a little fresher, right? Just some kind of help. And you want the team to be a little more seasoned, a little more I don't want to use the word older, but just more veteran presence. And that's the other thing. Like, I know these guys were young that we signed today, Jacob, but they're older than rookies. So we did add some veteran help to the team, and that's what we've been looking for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said there. I don't think we'll be the youngest team this year. I think there's a good chance we may not be the youngest team. Let's put it that way. Let's see, Mountain Man Pack. We are attacking this free agency for sure. Who's left that's worth bringing in? I guess this was earlier today.
It's hours later.
Other than Von Miller, who would it be, guys? Tim, do you got one? You got to have one. You can't listen. You cannot embarrass me on my own damn show and shun me for wanting Von Miller without having a name here, sir. Who is your guy? Who's the guy that you go, man? I wouldn't mind to have him.
Of the currently
Remain.
available.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. I got to refresh my
Tim
list.
said,
here.
"What you mean next year? Let me look. Let me see who's
Yeah. Who's available?
If you don't have one, it's okay. I just didn't know if you maybe had somebody at the forefront of your mind.
I mean, you're gonna. It's funny because I'm gonna have to admit that it probably is Von Miller. The only other thought is again the right price. Don't everybody drag me here.
MVS.
No, God, no.
It's about to happen, Tim. You better get
If
ready.
we're talking receiver, I'd roll the dice on Amari Cooper. Guys,
Pressure got to you, didn't it, Tim?
Amari Cooper, maybe.
Would you do Cooper or Cup? They in the same type of situation there?
I mean, Cooper Cup would be interesting because that's probably realistic that you could get kind of a team-friendly deal, but
J. Cole trying to win Tim over right here said, "Hey, I'll meet you in the middle. Sign Cup and draft Higgins." How about that, Tim?
That'd be amazing.
Then what do we do with Bird, man? Come on now. There's only so many. We already talk about guys getting targets. We don't want to go from one problem to another problem. I don't know. How do you get all those guys on the field? We run 5 wide all day and just.
I think we take an offensive lineman off the field. Six wide receivers out there, Tim. All right, Mountain Man Pack hit. I guess as soon as the signing happened, it said 53rd best guard. That's our big move. Sorry, Mountain Man Pack. That's all you get today. Moist Butter says 91% PBR. What is this PBW?
Pass blocking win rate.
There you go. Look at you, Jacob. Dang, boy.
Tell you what.
91% pass blocking win rate and 69% run blocking win rate and only 0.22 penalties per game. I will take that all day.
I like that.
I like that too. Like everything about that except for your screen name.
What do you have against Moist Butter, Tim? Huh? Unbelievable, man. Josh Martin.
Sounds like a pretty good name. I might have to steal that name on Friday night in my next go round.
He's going to show up to the office with a new name tag, Tim.
That's right.
Moist Butter. Josh Martin in the Patreon group. I like the Banks signing. Jenkins moves to center as we thought. And I think that was reported too, right? Somebody reported that the plan is for Jenkins to move to center. I want to say someone close to the Packers tweeted at one of the local reporters. Well, double check me on that. If anybody knows that information in the chat, let us know. Said the Hobbs signing makes no sense. We have Bullard in the slot. Does this mean Bullard is strictly safety? Again, I think there's some versatility there, Josh, with Hobbs, and I think they're going to do like we open up the show with. There's going to be some kind of camp battle and let everybody fall into place. What I like about it is you now don't have to force Bullard to the safety position if an injury happens, right? Because you got Zane Anderson back, that type of thing. Now, if you do approach it and you say, let's say you do like you're talking about here and you put Bullard back at safety, okay? Well, guess what happens? If Hobbs goes down, you got to pull Bullard back from safety. I think that's what they're trying to get away from. So I would imagine with Zane Anderson returning, it would be Bullard and Hobbs in the slot battling for that slot spot, and whichever one doesn't win would be the backup. Now, they may kick Hobbs outside, and then you would move Hobbs back inside if for some reason Bullard went down or vice versa. I just think it gives them more options in that regard. I think we're better today after that Hobbs signing in a sense of if somebody gets injured, we're not going to be panicking, trying to force Bullard back to safety or what have you. I think I honestly think they like Bullard in the slot. And I like him in the slot way better than the safety, albeit just 1 year of work. And that doesn't mean he was a great football player. I just think he played his best football in the slot as opposed to safety. And he's young, man. Got to give him time to grow. If Emilio was here, he would confirm that. Yep. Chris, I think Bullard is the odd man out at this point is what he says. And then he went on to say Clayton, Josh Sweat, or Banks, almost exact same deal. You guys know I wasn't big on Josh Sweat.
Yeah.
So now I'm not saying I'm big on Banks either. But, again, we didn't lose to the Eagles because we didn't have Josh Sweat on our team. We lost to the Eagles because we got our ass kicked in the trenches. After one injury, the wheels didn't fall off. They passed us up. You know what I mean? Like it was bad. It was ugly not having enough depth on the interior offensive line. So I think that was the goal there. So appreciate everybody in the Patreon group. You guys are awesome. If you want to join our Patreon group, scan the QR code in the upper right. That'll send you to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. And I want to mention we got a giveaway coming up. I'm trying to think of who it was. I'm looking over my camera right now. You guys talk for a second. I'm going to tell you what the next giveaway is going to be, autographed jersey here.
Well, Jake's saying Emilio will love this. He says the wheels fell off with Travis Glover. Bum, bum, bum.
I heard that all the way across the room.
I mean, yeah, I'll tell you what, it is interesting to see if there's anybody that's going to make that second or third year leap that we haven't really put a lot of faith into. I mean, Monk and Glover for sure. I don't even know. Is there anybody else, Tim, that you could see making a real big surprise splash and challenging for some starting positions?
I mean, other than Sean Ryan, possibly,
right.
Making it real difficult for these guys to find their way into the lineup, possibly. But, I don't know. I think competition's good, though. I wish Emilio was here, though. He'd be defending Travis Glover.
Travis Glover could get caught robbing 3 banks in 2 counties. And he'd kill the thing. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and we all know what Emilio would say, right?
Mm-hmm. He was the best guy around.
He can block.
And this is what Travis Glover would hear when Emilio showed up at the pen to bail him out. There's been a trade. Come with me, sir. I'm getting you out of here. So the giveaway, and we're going to do it this weekend. Okay, what is today? It's just Monday, right? So this coming weekend, we'll do like a Saturday night giveaway. Everyone who's in the Patreon group will be entered into a giveaway. Okay, if you're a member of one of the 3 tiers, you get access to the chats, the questions for the show, all that good stuff. You also can get yourself entered into the draft contest, where we're going to do mock draft contest. You set up a mock draft. Whoever gets closest to what the Packers actually do will get a prize there as well. Just a lot of cool stuff. But this Saturday, we're going to be giving away an autographed home Lucas Van Ness jersey. We got another one, so we're going to give that away. A nice piece of memorabilia from Pristine Auction. And, of course, we got these awesome cards that was donated by Jazambi earlier, and we got some other stuff, too. I think I got a Robert Brooks over there a little later. We're going to give them away. We got all kinds of stuff, man. So just a way for us to give back to those who are supporting the show. We appreciate y'all. Anything else, boys? We went over a little bit, but, hey, it's the first day of free agency. You got to talk about it, right?
No, I'm I don't even. No, I'm excited to see what happens tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be, obviously it won't be, I'm sure, as high flying and action packed and news filled, but I could see Packers making some weird kind of quiet moves, some bargain bin moves, if you will.
You cheat.
Go.
Yeah. Tim, you got anything else, big dog?
No, I'm good. I thought today went well. I'm not upset like some of the fan base is. It's going to be okay. Everybody take a breath. Goody's going to cook in the draft. It will all make sense later.
All right, there you go. And it looks like in the Patreon group right now, the grade B on the first day of free agency for the Packers with these 2 signings, 67% gave him a B, 33% gave him a C. And so it looks like B is going to win all the way across all platforms. I had it on Twitter as well. Let me get that result to you real quick before we end here. Yep, 55.7% said B, 24% said C, and 14% said A. So there you go. I think you're hearing the loud ones is what you're hearing out there. The pissed off minority is where you're hearing the most, and it looks like the majority of people thought pretty good day here on the first day of free agency for Brian Gutekunst. So we'll be back tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. Central, if everything goes as planned, and we'll be talking about any other moves that may or may not have happened here. iRock, great show. Thanks for sucking. Hey, Bob, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for dropping by and having a good time with us, man. You're always very, very supportive and positive, and it goes a long way in this great year of 2025. That's hard to find. So everybody, the super chats, really, really appreciate y'all. King Tron, we got Hardy the Prophet, been a member for 5 months. TC fan with the super chat. Good to see you back in here, buddy. Hardy the Prophet with the super chat. King Tron, Hardy again. Josh Martin, and then our good buddy Drew with the super chat. Thank y'all for supporting the stream. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye.
There we go.
Bye, guys.